Alrighty, guys, we're back for Abzan Food, and this is a Foundation Standard Brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. But first things first, happy Thanksgiving! Alright, what kind of food do we got packed in here? Well, carrot cake, making the cut as a 4 of, and pairing well with carrot cake, as we know, Caretaker's talent, making the cut as a 4 of too. Then check this out, guys, Food Coma. This is a 4-mana enchantment. When Food Coma enters, exile target creature an opponent controls until Food Coma leaves the battlefield, and then also create a food token. So potentially a bit of a janky pick here, but we are leaning all of our removal into the food side of things. So bake into pie, also making the cut. The 4-mana instant speed, destroy target creature, create a food token. Okay, and then we also have Savor, which is a 2-mana instant speed. Target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. And can you guess it? Yes, create a food token. Nice. Well, so what else do we got packed in? Well, we actually have the infinite combo with Ygra packed in. So Ygra, Eater of All, is a 5-mana 6/6 with Ward, sacrifice a food. Other creatures are food artifacts in addition to their other types and have the food ability. Whenever a food is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ygra, Eater of All. Okay, so we're pairing that ability with Experimental Confectioner and Camellia as well. So Experimental Confectioner is a 3-mana 2/3. When it enters, you create a food token. Nice. Whenever you sacrifice a food, you create a 1/1 black rat creature token with this creature can't block. And then for Camellia, 3-mana 3/3, it has Menace. Other squirrels you control have Menace as well. We do have other squirrels packed in with the Vinereap Mentor, which is a 2-mana 3/2 rock and Golgari colors up there. When it enters or dies, create a food token. That's a lot of value packed onto that little squirrel buddy. Anyways, Camellia also has, whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, you create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Also has a bottom ability for 2 with forage, or 2 and forage, right? Put a +1/+1 counter on each other squirrel you control, which I don't know how often that actually comes in handy, but hey, I guess it's on the card, so you never know. What ends up happening then is if you sacrifice one of your creatures while the Ygra is on the board, it makes it a food artifact, right? So it's technically, even though you're sacrificing a creature, you're sacrificing a food, and then these read whenever you sacrifice 1 or more foods, you get another creature, right? Same thing with the Confectioner. So you can just sacrifice a rat, get a rat back, sacrifice a rat, right? So we have sacrifice outlets in here with Bartolomé, 2-mana, 2/1, legendary creature, so 3 of them. Sacrifice another creature or artifact, put a +1/+1 counter on Bartolomé. Cool. We also have another one here, Dissection Tools. On the top end is a 5-mana artifact equipment. The equip is sacrifice a creature. Nice. But then this is also a pretty neat card, guys. When it enters, you manifest dread, then attach Dissection Tools to that creature. And then the equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has Death Touch and Lifelink. So when you end up playing this for 5 mana, you manifest dread. The manifest dread gets you a 2/2. Then this attaches to it. So it's 5 mana for a 4/4 Death Touch Lifelink. Actually, just don't think that's too bad. You know what I mean? And then you can immediately just equip it somewhere else too. That's totally fine. Maybe you want to equip that to Bartolomé, for example. Maybe your Bartolomé has been sacrificing things all game and is pretty chunky. Well, now you're going to get a whole bunch of lifelink. But you know what it doesn't have? It doesn't have trample. And Ygra doesn't have trample either. That's where Leyline Axe comes in handy. We got 2 of them in here. It's 4 mana. However, if it's in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it on the battlefield. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. Beautiful stuff. The equip cost is pretty steep at 3 as well. But since this is kind of sort of a mid-range deck list, I don't know. It's not going to be unheard of to spend that 3 and be very happy about it when you're attaching it to something like Eater of All. All right, other cards packed in. We have a couple Midnight Snacks. This is a 3-mana enchantment with Raid. So at the beginning of your end step, if you attacked this turn, you create a food token. And then also this bottom ability is pretty sick. For 2 and a black, you can sacrifice this enchantment. Target opponent loses X life, where X is the amount of life you gained this turn. So that could also be, if you're missing trample on like a big old chunky Bartolomé or Ygra, that could be a win condition with Dissection Tools, where you give it lifelink, the opponent chump blocks. However, you sacrifice Midnight Snack, and that could still be a great way to get that excess damage through. And if you're not getting the excess damage through with your infinite combos or just like big old chunky Bartolomes, then another win condition is actually Scavenger's Talent, the level 2 on here. So whenever you sacrifice a permanent, target player mills 2 cards. So you just keep on sacrificing. If you have the infinite loop, of course, you just mill the opponent out that way. Not really going to take a look at the level 3. However, Scavenger's Talent top ability also works really well with this deck list, where whenever one or more creatures you control die, create a food token. This ability triggers only once each turn. It's not going to be unheard of to have this trigger on your turn and the opponent's turn, giving you a whole bunch of food. Okay, the mana base, guys. Not going to take too much time to go over it right now, but we do have all 4 Backstreets, all 4 Restless Cottage, another way to generate some foods. We have a couple Hushwood Verge, we have a couple Fabled Passage, and a couple Mirrex as well. Honorable mentions, thought about Witch's Vanity, Gumdrop Poisoner, Deadly Cover-Up. Not having a board wipe in here is a super sketchy, dude. Doubling Season could have been really cool with this, right? And then Night of Sweet's Revenge is also a card I thought about. Heaped Harvest is a pretty decent one. And Fountain Port, opting for the Mirrex this time. Since it is a 3-color deck list, I actually think that Mirrex is going to mana fix us for the turn that it comes down. So yeah, that's why no Fountain Port this time. Okay, guys. Woo! Buddy, that was a lot to go over. I do my D&D is to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, and sometimes I fail. Either way, let's go ahead and take this into some ranked and see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? It should be pretty janky. However, we got some pretty powerful cards packed in, like Caretaker's Talent and stuff. Really, really good synergies packed in too. So while it should be janky, I think we're going to get some clean victories today too. So we'll see, we'll see. Not a lot of victories, mind you, just some clean victories. All right, opponent goes first. We'll give this a shot. All right. Scavenger's Talent, probably Mirrex for the green source on the Mentor. And then think about what we're grabbing here with the Fabled Passage. Very likely a Plains, though. Oh, we actually find a Plains. All right, let's see what the Mentor can get done for us. It was not a cut down. Third mana Unstoppable Slasher. Oh, buddy. There's our green source, and then once we get the Plains down, it's just good value dual land. For the turn, this is a good trade. I think we're going to wait to block, though, because I think they take that 3 easily, right? So I will get the Verge down, and then Plains next turn. We have food open. We're actually just going to go Talent. Upgrade, right? Whenever we sacrifice a permanent, mill 2. Keep the blocker. Well, I don't even think Mentor survives the turn, but we'll see. If we had something else to keep open in hand, then... well, it also could have been Fabled Passage if we wanted to thin the deck list too. Unholy Annex. Ooh, great trade. Nice. Very nice. Okay. Food token and then another food token. So we got 3 food tokens. And then before the opponent untaps, we take the turn. Ooh. That could have been bad. Hold on. Do I actually want to thin the deck list? No, not yet. I guess we'll just play Swamp and then bake into a pie. Yeah, we want to do that now before they have a counter spell for that. Like we don't want them to untap. 4 food on the board, guys. They go ahead to get their 6/6 demon. There's more mana. See, I mean, that's a reason to go Fabled Passage. Start thinning the deck when we do have this much mana, right? So the level 3 on this is at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice 3 other non-land permanents. If you do, return a creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Probably not worth it right now. Baked into pie is likely the play here. And again, we do it while they're tapped out, and then we'll just play Fabled Passage and think about what we're grabbing on the opponent's turn, probably. 5 food on the board. You know what? We should have added red for food fight, right? Totally, totally. All right, Fabled Passage. That's funny. I mean, honestly, there's so much in here that just slams food onto the board, so... Archfiend. Yeah. Okay. We already have 3 black sources with the swamp in hand. Maybe if we could just survive long enough versus Archfiend, maybe the oil counters will... Oh. Huh. I guess they plan on playing Virtue next turn, so they're like, you know what, we might as well get some life gain here, right? And I think we are going to... I guess we'll start milling them. I guess you literally never know, guys, because that might be how we decide to win the game. We'll grab a Plains, I guess. Yeah, since we already have another black source in hand with the swamp. Restless Cottage is actually pretty good, isn't it? That is a lot of mana, though. We have 3. Power up the Scavenger's talent, I guess. And start using some of this food into 3. Bring back the Mentor. Get another food. Mill. 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 Food token. This is actually pretty sick, right? So they got 35 cards now in the deck list. Another Archfiend. We are officially on a clock, guys. We have 1 turn after this one. They go ahead, hit the Mentor with the finality counter, so we do not get the food because the finality counter exiles. Still worth it, though. We got the ETB. Bartolomé. That's interesting. It's too bad that we actually didn't see our cards that generate more from the sacrifices, right? When we sacrifice food. I think that would have been huge here, actually. We also have Mirrex for the turn, too. I mean, we'll go for as far as we can go. As far as, like... Yeah. We're going to die in the air next turn anyways. We're going to go as far as we can go. Let's see what happens. Sacrifice Mildew. Now, see if we had one of the creatures that generated extra creatures. That'd be kind of insane, right? Yeah, I'm just curious to see how low we actually get the opponent's life total. I guess we could count, too, instead of... Oh. Oh, we also could have gained life, guys. That's something. That's something. We could have potentially survived another turn. We would have had to gain... They have 12 in the air, then 2 here, and then Restless Reef could have potentially been blocked. I guess we could have survived, right? I guess so. There's our food token for the turn. Oh, and then also when our creatures die, though, the Archfiend is going to deal a whole bunch of damage to us. We got them down to 24 cards. And then here, well, I'll sacrifice this first. We'll completely play it out. I'm not trying to be annoying, opponent. I'm curious to see how much. And good game, opponent. Good game. I don't think my good game went through. I tried dropping it. Well, crap. So yeah, even if we had the creature on the board that was generating extra creatures every time we sacrificed a food, they were at 22, and the Scavenger's talent was doing 2 every time. We had, what, 4 foods? So best scenario for survival would have been popping the foods for life, and that's just not as fun to me. I don't know. I was curious to see how far we can actually go there. If it wasn't Archfiend and it was a different creature, like one that wasn't punishing us for sacrificing, right? Then we were about to get another food for the Mentor. Then we were about to sacrifice the food as well. So the opponent would have been at 18 cards remaining. It's actually pretty sick. And that's cool how much we were able to mill them without even having the combo on the board and stuff. So Caretaker's talent, this could have been huge in that last game. This is a mulligan though, guys. Only Swamp in hand is really bad. Oh man, I really like everything else about the hand though. Hey, there we go. Yeah, believe it or not, we are a 3-color deck list. Two Scavenger's talents would have been insane in that last game, right? If we had both of these on the board milling. Would we have won, actually? I don't know. I have to go back and watch that first one to see how many cards we actually ended up milling. So we keep this. Because the Scavenger's talent is a duplicate, I suppose that is the discard. And we're going to opt for the turn 2 Bartolomé. Oh, Mentor, actually. I was going to say we could go turn 1 talent or have our turn 2 guaranteed, and opting just for the turn 2 seems much better to me. All right, Mentor over Bartolomé, because this is more of like a check out what the deck list can do thing later on, right? But also it could be pretty good for excess damage early too, so that's noteworthy. Depends if you think your creature is going to get burnt away. I'm going to keep the Experimental Confectioner as a surprise. We're actually going to go Scavenger's Talent before combat. Because of the top ability, they'd want to remove this before combat. So Lightning Strike. So we tried. Food token. And then we'll get the Bartolomé down. Crap. Crap, guys. We will level 2 the Scavenger's Talent, all according to plan. Oh, man. All according to plan. This is the shot show off. Okay, this game, we have to seriously consider gaining life off of food when it comes time. All that being said, right, again, in that first game, right, we could have survived one more turn maybe. I think that was heavily leaning towards the opponent, but seeing one more card also could have done something for us. So anyways, this game, what I'm trying to say here is I am going to opt for survival. I get a couple things down this turn. Still save the Confectioner then. Food token, Bartolomé, and potential good block on the ground. All right. That's the turn. I hope we get the Confectioner down before we have to start popping these foods. Go for the full swing. I can imagine. This is very much a Monstrous Rage style deck list. Attempt the block. See what happens here. If Hired Claw survives, then we sacrifice it to Bartolomé. If Hired Claw trades, it's a good trade. So it's still a trade. They get a little bit of excess damage through. Let's see if they have something else for us here. It's still a really good trade. We're taking 2 less as well by not sacrificing, which is important against explosive deck lists. Okay. Food token, food token. See what we can get done here with the Confectioner. Mana off the top wouldn't be bad because we could actually, yeah, can spend it to gain some life, which is kind of sort of important. Confectioner. And we're also just 1 card away from the infinite combo, guys. That's also really good, isn't it? So we can swing with the Bartolomé. It could be a hefty swing if we want. Do we want? At least a couple times, maybe? We get a 1/1 rat. We'll mill them. I don't know, man. We'll see what they end up doing. They might want to, on the stack, remove the Confectioner. They got Bolt Wave over there. I'll go a couple more times. Right now, we're only planning on sacrificing 1 food for life. I guess we should probably keep 2 food around, though. Still thinking about a card in their hand, they are. Alright, one more time, I guess. Get the Bartolomé above a lightning strike. And that's another reason why you still want to hold some of these back, too. Alright, it is a 5-4. I'm going to keep 3. See what they do. Okay, down to 15. I think that was worthwhile, right? I totally think so. We have a pretty good board state here. 10 on the board. If they don't have any blockers. Questing Druid. That's something that we showcased in the last one. Like why I said, I'm not trying to be an annoying opponent. I'm just trying to play out the game, right? It's going to be kind of a slow deck list to pilot. I think they're going to hold the Swiss Spear as a blocker. Yeah. And then we will gain this back because they're tapped out. I'm just going to do it now because holding the opponent up is rough. Extra rat. So they have a chump blocker for Bartolomé. This is actually really good for them, right? So mana off the top. Full swing, right? Full swing, yeah. They probably chump Bart. Probably want to keep the 2 food open, and maybe we'll bring the, Ooh. How much damage can we do here, guys? That was not what I was expecting. So we get an extra food. Mill 2. How much extra damage can we push through with this Bartolomé? 1, 2, 3. Then another 3. That's lethal, right? I believe so. Because now we can just sacrifice the rats that come in from the food. Well, at least I hope it's lethal. I hope I didn't miscount. I guess we'll see, won't we? A lot of milling. And then we sacrifice the rats that came in. So Bart is at 10 already. And then actually, that's all we got to do. Yeah, there it is. Okay, all right. So we actually had 17 total damage there. GG opponent. I'll take that victory all day. I thought the chump on Bart was very, very likely. The turn was going to look very different there, guys. I was going to level up the talent and then bring back a mentor. And we were going to level up the talent by sacrificing the rats, not the food. We wanted to keep the food open with the 6th mana in hand. We still only would have been able to have 1 food open, but that life gain is going to be essential. That performed pretty well overall, didn't it? It felt decent. Keep the ball rolling. While I have you here in the middle of the video, guys, make sure you check out that description where we got that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too if you're interested in supporting the channel that way. And then also, while we're talking the YouTube nonsense, if you like the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. And if you enjoy the channel, then consider subscribing as well because it really does help out the channel. And also, thank you guys. So Dissection Tool in our opener here. Vinereap Mentor on turn 2 off the Mirrex. No green source yet. I'm going to keep it. I don't know. It's not like the greatest hand, but I'm not 100% convinced that this is a mulligan. When you have early surveil lands too, it kind of eases it just a little bit because, yeah, you get to find something off the top. Like a forest, for example, which is exactly what we want to see here. So we'll keep the Mirrex for later mana fixing if we need it. Turn 3 or 4. I don't think we're going to need it, but we'll see. All right, Orzhov colors, Case of the Uneaten Feast over there. Vinereap Mentor is a terrible target for your Go for the Throat, but I will take the extra food all day. It's a gumdrop poisoner. Nice. Okay. So Orzhov life gain is very likely here. A case and a poisoner. Zoraline. Gets around the Savor, guys. We need to see some more of our top end removal at that point. Can take the turn to level up the talent, or just play the Shadowy Backstreet for the Surveil. Might be a little bit more important. They definitely don't take that trade, do they? But they might. So I guess we start with the Surveil then. If we're just going to be... But also, if they were going to take that trade, I don't know. I think I'm going to keep Bart on top. All right. Go for the swing. If they were going to take that trade, then Savor might be decent, right? Because it would save the Mentor, but also the trade is pretty good too. I guess Scavenger talent beforehand also could have been good, but keeping the Savor open made sense as well. There's a lot to think about there. Savor would have given us a food, saved our Mentor, and the Zoraline would have died. But then before combat playing Scavenger's talent also would have meant probably guaranteed that they weren't going to block, I guess. Drop Poisoner kills the Mentor that way because they gained 2 here. All right, food token. And 4th mana comes down, and we will use the Mirrex to mana fix. I don't know what we want on turn 5. I kind of want Dissection Tools, actually. Savor takes care of the Poisoner, which we might want to do on our turn, honestly, but... Alright. Bart's coming down. I think I'm going to keep Savor open, because there might be something that we want to hit, and the opponent's not playing blue, so the counterspell won't happen on the Savor, and I can't think what life gain would necessarily want as far as boosts for their creatures, so hopefully that's just a good decision. So Bartolomé can get above. Also, if we would have done it on our turn, the Zoraline would have hit in and would have been able to bring back the Poisoner. That's another reason, right? So we could block with Bart, sacrifice all the food. We could. Or we can just go Savor, which is probably a little bit better here. Did I? Yeah, no, we're good. Savor's probably a little better than sacrificing all the food. So we take 3 here. We bypassed the Zoraline ability for the turn. Oh, Dark Star Augur Offspring. That's good. That's really good. They're going up to 24, and the Augur's ability is going to be terrific for them because they have so much life already. So, Eater of All. Okay, I was trying to think, like, do we want life on Dissection Tools? But it's probably Eater of All. It's pretty easy for them to get rid of, though, since they have so many creatures now. Carrot Cake is also pretty good. And Carrot Cake is like an entire other side of this deck list with the Caretaker's talent, too, that we're actually just not seeing right now. So we'll get the Eater of All onto the board. That's 2 pieces of the combo. Everything is a food, in fact. And then we awkwardly pass it back. Yeah, that's fine, right? Of course, we'd love to get this Dissection Tools onto the Ygra for a Death Touch lifelink, but then also we'll just have a ridiculous amount of life gain from that. They do find a Elspeth's Smite. They see a land off the other Augur, and then they draw. So they got 5 cards in their hand, guys. Go for a swing in the air, and they're probably bringing back that Gumdrop Poisoner for the turn, which is going to try to hit Bartolomé. We'll attempt to get Bart above the -X ability from the Poisoner. Oh, they don't gain the life first, but they still might as well bring back the creature because it's so much extra value, right? And it'll be a great blocker for them too. They decide not to. They got something better in hand. Okay. That's scary, huh? Might sacrifice a couple food to the Bart this turn. Because we still got 4 food. Might want to go life gain on the food, though, too. For next turn. But it's probably Dissection Tools. Attach it to the Eater. Ruin Lurker Bat. Yeah, they got chump blocks for days. So not having a trample on any of this is a little bit rough. Also, we don't have to sacrifice. We could do that on our turn, too. So, yeah. We'll wait. Let's see what's on top. Oh, Leyline Axe. Holy cow, dude. That would have been so good in our opener for this game. Oh my goodness. We don't have enough mana right now to do all that, but wow. Huh? That's something else. It's probably just Dissection Tools for the turn though, right? I'm trying to think of how we survive the swing next turn, and that's probably the best way through. We're probably going to sacrifice the manifested creature anyways. So Dissection Tools, target, sacrifice, and we'll keep the Bartolomé open, right? So food token. And Dissection Tools gets attached to the Ygra. And now we go for it, right? We just go for it. Food. I think it's probably spot removal, guys. I do. On the stack, they go Bartolomé -2/-2. We're going to get that above it, first of all. And just continue Bartolomé's ability on the stack here. We're probably just going to get rid of all the food then. That's probably okay. I mean, this is something else, right? You guys don't suppose they're just waiting until we waste all of our food to drop a true piece of spot removal on the Eater, right? Right, guys? They're looking at their hand. We're going for it. We're going for it because I think we're in danger either way. So let's see it. Okay. It's a 5/4. Full swing. Go, 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 go. And they chump. Holy cow, guys. The lifelink is actually getting through here? For real? Oh, wow. Wow. Holy cow. Okay. That's good. That's really, really good. Back up to 28 gives us plenty more turns. Maybe we can pull something off with this Leyline Axe when it comes time now, too. See, the problem is they have chump blockers for days. You need to get that trample on the board. Or that's why we have multiple ways to win, too, like Scavenger's Talent level 2 and stuff. Deep Cavern Bat. No! My Leyline Axe! No! Ah, man, I was so excited to try to get that double strike trample. Yeah, this is one of those deck lists. I can only imagine we're annoying the crap out of the opponents because of like how slow you have to like click through everything, right? You can't just say I'm sacrificing all my food, so and then count the food, right? You have to do it one at a time. Go for the full swing. Chump blockers for days, guys. They're probably going to activate the Zoraline ability here too. It's just, I'd be shocked again if they don't do it. Like, it's just so much extra value. But maybe they're trying to do something fancy. I mean, at that point too, bring back the Ruin Lurker Bat, right? There they go. All right, down to 20. The bat comes back with a finality counter. Extra life gain. Up to 24. Maybe we'll see another Leyline Axe off the top. It's only a matter of time until the opponent finds true spot removal too, right? Get Lost has got to be in there. Lunar Convocation. What could we do here, guys? Finding spot removal of our own off the top could be huge, of course. All right, my turn. Vinereap Mentor. We'll probably play out our whole hand. Let's start with Carrot Cake, see what the scry looks like. And we can continue the sacrifices on Bartolomé, but we honestly, no, we don't want that and. We might want level 2 on the Scavenger's talent. It would have been really good last turn, too. Or maybe it is just the Vinereap Mentor. No, I'll hold back for the turn. We'll start the milling process. There's a very high chance, I would say, of us living long enough to just need to mill the opponent using this Scavenger's talent. So, see what they end up doing here. They are forced to chump. We're gonna chump with the 1/1. Looks like Bartolomé's getting through, and we will maximize that damage. Also maximize our life gain. Yeah, if we had the mill last turn, the opponent would be down, what, an extra 10 cards? I don't know how many we sacrificed last turn right now, but let's get that scry. Fabled Passage, don't need it. We don't need it. We're looking for another Leyline Axe, although more mana on the board would also be decent. We get another food, more mill. I'll probably save the bunny rabbit to sacrifice next turn. In the meantime, though, we might as well still sacrifice this food, right? This is silly, guys. This is silly. More ways to give trample in here could actually be pretty cool. The opponent's down to 37 cards remaining. We get 10 through with the Bartolomé. I don't think that matters too much right now, guys. Ygra is a 30/30 Death Touch Lifelink Ward Sacrifice Food, which they have plenty of food on the board. So, Dark Star. We got 35, 34 cards remaining in the deck list, guys. Again, it's only a matter of time until they find a Get Lost. This Deep Cavern Bat was brutal, actually, because Leyline could have come down one turn, the next turn, attach it. It's all go for the throat, guys. And we can officially cry ourselves to sleep. However, Dissection Tools can still go on to the Bartolomé, which is still kind of cool, right? Gonna be sacrificing a food here. It's going to be this food rather than the actual bats. And we generate a food for the turn too, which actually is not terrible. We still have a chance of pushing through the damage with the Leyline Axe if we find removal for the bat. However, our removal's very expensive, so we'd still have extra turns. It's still going to be very, very tough to find a way through here, I would say, guys. They're also gaining a bunch of life. So Scavenger's talent still might be the way, since we're at 49 life ourselves. Oh, Sheltered by Ghosts is going to take the Bartolomé. Now we're in danger, guys, for real. Yeah, there's nothing we can do about that, right? Dissection Tools still gives us a sacrifice outlet for the talent, though. Also, guys, this was a game where we could have had the infinite combo on the board pretty easily. We were successfully surviving turns with Bart and Ygra on the board, and then 5 cards in here could have helped us go infinite. And 5 cards is a lot of cards, man. So, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we see one off the top right now. They go for a Warden. Okay, they're tapped out. Oh, they're not tapped out because they get a 1/1, so they still have a chump blocker. Camellia, dude. It's like I said, man, I would not be surprised at all. Wow. Well, crap, huh? Well, crap. Crap, that's our green source. We need the mentor on the board to sacrifice a creature for the tools. Because I want to swing with our 1/1. Maybe we can bring back Ygra with the Scavenger's talent ability. 2/3. That's not worth it. Crap, we need a green source, man. 1 second, opponent. I'm thinking, buddy, this deck list is a lot. there's a lot to do here. We could upgrade level 3, play the other mentor. If we play mentor, we keep Camellia in hand as a surprise, right? And then we get food token, so now we don't have to sacrifice the dissection tools. We can go dissection tools onto the 1/1, still potentially have a little swing there, but that's not worth it, I would say. Because we just want to keep as many tokens on the board as possible. So what's going to end up happening here, guys, is at the end, no attacks. We go end and then Scavenger's talent ability. Mentor, food, and then mill. And we're going to bring back the Ygra. It has a finality counter now. We're going to be milling, because it was 3 sacrifices. Okay. They're down to 28 cards, guys. This is crazy, man. This is crazy. And we are 1 turn away from the infinite combo where we will mill the rest of their life total. But they're drawing 3 cards every turn thanks to these augurs over here. Yeah, Camellia in hand. All we need to do is get it on the board. And then infinite sacrifice with the dissection tools. I'm on the edge of my seat. Ruin Lurker Bat is what they start with here. This might be the last game of the evening, guys. Win or lose, it was a awesome game. A really fun one. It's funny being at 39 life. Like, we're just not worried about dying for the turn. The only thing we're worried about is Ygra dying for the turn. I don't know. If it was spot removal, I think they would have went for it already, right? Like, they're thinking this through. They're thinking, how do we survive the onslaught? How do we push the excess damage through when they're going to gain so much off of the Ygra and stuff, right? I think that's what they're thinking. A problem here is, though, we don't have Bartolomé on the board, so we're not successfully sacrificing food. And they do not know that our last card in hand is Camellia, about to combo off with the Ygra. All right, here they go. Deep Cavern Bat, guys. Please don't be Deep Cavern Bat. Please. Please don't be Deep Cavern Bat. Sheltered by Ghost. I wasn't even thinking about that. Oh no, guys. No. I wasn't. You guys might have already known, right? Because Zoraline. Yeah, but what's cool about this is the exile, where they're actually getting rid of the finality counter by doing it that way, because now there's a chance where we can pick up the bat and bring back the Ygra that way. Yeah, no, I think, unfortunately, I think that's going to be game now, but we could still have a couple turns. That's a problem, because even if we get rid of the bat, it needs to be a Savor, and we have to pay the ward too, and we still don't have enough for the Camellia then. Gumdrop Poisoner, we get another food token. On us at 25 cards. I don't know what we could see here, guys. I really don't. Actually, this is the game where, when I was going over the honorable mentions, I went over Deadly Cover-Up, and I said it's a little silly not having a board wipe in here. This is the game, right? To show why it's a little silly. Restless Cottage, we do have Camellia for the turn. Yeah, cleaning up that Ygra. I mean, it's got to be it, right? I think so. I think so. We have the forage ability. We want that. We could do that. We could do life gain for a 1/1, then attach dissection tools by sacrificing the 1/1, which I guess could be kind of cool. I guess that's how we'll do it. It's better than the forage on Camellia, right? So we mill. Like, we're gonna do as much as possible here, you know what I mean? I'm not even counting what's on the opponent's board state. We probably still have a turn after this as well. But we just have to expect everything, or nothing to survive, I should say. Going back up to 32, and then we'll go Dissection Tools onto the Camellia and sacrifice the Squirrel, which is another mill. And then the 2 food tokens, we have nothing to... We can't sacrifice those. Or 3 food tokens now, since we sacrificed a food. So Camellia, at the very least, is a 5/5. Opponent has 21 cards. They're going down to 18 cards. Oh, we do have 3 foods. That'll be another 6 cards off the top. And another squirrel on the board. I'm doing it, guys. Mentor gets the ETB for food. It does not get the death trigger because of the finality counter, but that's still really good, right? Another squirrel as well. Mill 2, mill 2, mill 2. This is crazy, dude. So now we have 2 sacrifices for Dissection Tools. We already got the top ability on the talent for the turn, though. Opponent has 14 cards remaining, guys. Oh, man. If we had that level 2 on that earlier turn before I popped off with the Bartolomé. But that was still kind of a necessary turn because we had the lifelink on the Ygra. They have another Sheltered by Ghosts in hand here, too. Down to 11 cards because they're drawing 3 every single turn, guys. Sheltered by Ghost is going to pick up the Camellia for sure. Oh, it's non-land permanent. A crap. Okay, now we're dead. That was a good play from the opponent. I completely overlooked that. Yeah, that was it. That was the grab. Crap. Guys, all right, we still might have a couple turns here. Maybe we find another Scavenger's talent off the top. That's possible. At this point, too, we're long overdue for some of the removal. It's not like we have a lot of removal packed in, but something else, too. Caretaker's talent would have been huge today, man. Holy cow. All the extra card draw every turn, and on the opponent's turns, too. Easily drawing. All right. They do pay the 2, gladly, and bring back something good. How about that Gix? No, they just go for a Gumdrop Poisoner, which pops our 1/1, unfortunately. Which would be 1 less sacrifice that we would be worried about if the Scavenger's talent is on the board. But all right, we're down to 14. We have 1 turn remaining. What's the top deck? Let's see it. Opponent down to 11 cards, man. Don't underestimate level 2 Scavenger's talent. It's mana off the top. No. What do we have here? What do we have? Warden. We have a swing. Everything they have is in the air. If they full swing, we'll have that on the ground. Only gaining 5 isn't much, right? So with mana, I suppose we still go for it, right? We start with gaining some life here. Yeah, we'll still maximize everything as much as we can. And then after that, we go forage, and we'll forage through our grave, which will be the non-creatures first. Play the mana, and we'll do that again. No. What am I saying? We can't do that again. Well... I guess we play the mana anyways, and we go for the swing. Yeah, since we're dead here. This was so close. This was such a good game. Sheltered by Ghost was an absolute menace this game, and we only saw one piece of spot removal. Again, there's not too much spot removal packed in, but they go for full blocks here. At this point, why not, right? We could have kept 2 blockers on the ground if we kept Mentor. We could have gained... I'd very much like to take out the Zora line. Watch out for that auto-assign lethal damage, guys. Oh, Death Touch, that's why. Okay, I see. The game, in fact, knew what it was doing. And this one does not have Death Touch, so we'd want to at least hit the bat once here. So we lose the Mentor, 2 in exile, then we have Dissection Tool if we want to sacrifice the 2/2. Back up to 21. If we would have kept a blocker on the ground, we could have blocked the other Gumdrop Poisoner. But then they'd have 3, 5, 7, 8, 13, 15, 16. Hold up, guys. I mean, we don't survive this turn, do we? No, right? No, I don't believe we survived this turn, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Opponent down to 8 cards is pretty wild. They tap the Poisoner. They do find removal for the Chump Blocker. We didn't even need it at that point because they're just flying in the air. Restless Cottage would have been potentially pretty good earlier. That maybe a choice to power up and swing in to take some of these goodies out of the opponent's grave. I can't believe it, guys. We have one more turn. Can we find the mill for the opponent? Oh. Opponent's down to 4 cards, guys. Holy cow. This Amalia almost devastated the opponent. What could we find here? What could we do? We need to get rid of just a couple cards. They discard a Food Coma. Hold up. We do have a lot of mana. Leyline Axe, boy, that would have been so good earlier, huh? What am I even looking at here? How do I look underneath? That's just a Bartolomé, and this one is just a Scavenger's Talent, right? Even so, we'd have to spend 2 just to get around the ward 2. And that would be the pick, right? The Scavenger's Talent. So we pay the ward 2, and we don't have 2 mana to activate the Scavenger's Talent. And even if we did, we don't have any creatures to sacrifice to the Dissection Tools. So actually, taking the... we wouldn't have survived the turn anyways, but taking the Ygra, if there was a good game opponent, good game, I definitely want to make sure to drop that GG there. Anyways, they have 1 card remaining in their deck list, guys. There's so much to talk about there. We're 53 minutes in, very long match. Very worth it, I would say. That was awesome. That was a game of magic. A lot of thought processes there. Level 2, Scavenger's Talent. Earlier in that game would have been our game, right? So early in that game, see, it was such a long match, I don't even know. I'd have to go back and watch and say, like, right there, that's where I shouldn't have played that. I should have leveled that up right then and there. So yeah, don't underestimate level 2. That's going to be one of your main win conditions in here, especially when the opponent generates so many chump blockers. Like, we were popping off with the Ygra and everything, and then 1 turn late Camellia too. So honestly, maybe a little unlucky if that's what we want to call it, but it's still going to be a combo deck list. So not seeing your combo is just par for the course. Really neat, man. Really neat. We got to go over this deck list again. And also, happy Thanksgiving again. Hope everyone's having a wonderful holiday. Here's the deck list again, guys. Seeing Leyline in an opener in one of those games could have been really cool too. And maybe having Leyline be a cheaper option to give trample could also be pretty good. Like, literally, if we had 1 or 2 mana card that gave trample to the Ygra, that would have been a different match completely. However, I think it's still pretty cool to have Leyline. And the artifacts like Leyline and Dissection Tools works really well with Bartolomé because you can sacrifice creature or artifact. And as you guys saw in that last game, Dissection Tools being our sacrifice outlet of choice kind of held us up a little bit, but not really, because you can only sacrifice creatures for a Dissection Tools, but hitting artifacts is super important for the Bartolomé. Guys, overall, the deck list is going to be pretty janky. I would say put it on the do not craft list. That being said, is it like a expensive deck list? I'm not really sure. Carrot Cake's common, Savor's common, Bartolomé's uncommon, Mentor's uncommon. So all of our 2-drops, relatively budget, I suppose. Midnight Stack could have been pretty cool today. Actually, another one of our win conditions where we pushed the Ygra Eater of All through with lifelink, and then if we had Midnight Snack on that board, sacrifice the bottom ability. Really cool. Like that match literally showcased everything that the deck list was trying to do, and all we were looking for was one of our key pieces. All of the Confectioners and the Camellia as well. All of those could have been terrific. 5 of them in the deck list for a very good reason, I would say. Caretaker's talent hid today, and when it's not hiding, it's going to be pretty excellent. We were generating tokens nonstop on our turn, on the opponent's turn. Good stuff. Scavenger's talent. We might want 3 of these, dude. I don't know what we drop right now. I don't think I'm going to change anything in the deck list. Something else, guys. Food Coma could probably just be more bake into pies, but the exile is going to come in handy sometimes. So having this split between Food Coma and bake into pie still makes sense to me. And then Savor here too, and not a lot of removal. That's it. 6 pieces of removal. Not having the deadly cover up in here is super duper sketchy. So that is another thing that we could potentially go up. I don't know how you're making room in this deck list at all, but since we didn't see Caretaker's talent, I could see dropping a couple talents, either going up a couple deadly cover-ups or go up a Scavenger's talent to 3 because I thought this was an absolute MVP today. Or, yeah, drop 2 talents, go up a wait a minute. Drop 2 Caretaker's talents, go up 1 Scavenger's talent, and then go up a deadly cover-up. That is also a possibility, and you're just increasing the amount of black sources required, which is probably okay. You could probably still keep the mana base the same. However, you could also, if you're dropping a couple talents, you could drop the Food Coma, go up the bake into pie, just heavily lean towards the black mana, go up a couple swamp, drop a couple plains, and I think the mana base would work fine in that scenario. See, that's a lot to change for now. So like, I'm not going to make that change, but that is very much an option. Overall though, I'm leaning towards just more testing required. It's still going to be janky, but as far as combo deck lists go, I think there actually might be a little bit of something here. I think we're able to pop off multiple different ways, even when you're not seeing the combo. I think that's really neat. So yeah, cool stuff, man. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck list as much as I enjoyed it. Over in the mana base, if we're looking here, guys, the Backstreet was decided. First of all, the Surveil lands are just really good, but also it's a plains and a swamp. So if you see plains and swamp, well, when you see your Verge, now it's going to be a green source as well as a white source. And we're playing the Verge over just excess forests because, of course, we're going to want that white source very often. At that point, you can see the other plains or the forest or Fabled Passage to mana fix you into that to have the Hushwood Verge be just a terrific Selesnya dual land. That's why the Shadowy Backstreet. And then Restless Cottage, of course, was chosen because when you're swinging in, not only is it important to hit stuff out of the grave, a little bit of graveyard hate goes a long way, but then also the food tokens, of course. And then you guys saw how the Mirrex actually came in handy when you're rocking 3-color deck lists for mana fixing on turns like turn 2 and stuff, or turn 3 mana fixing happens a lot with Mirrex. So the double Mirrex makes a lot of sense. You can generate the mites, can sacrifice the mites to Bartolomé. You get, when you're sacrificing creatures, you get goodies from talent, you get goodies from nothing else. I was going to say Camellia and Confectioner, but that's only when you have the Ygra on the board. Outside of that, it's just when you sacrifice foods. But also Mirrex tokens works well with the Caretaker's talent. And just because we didn't see the talent today doesn't mean that this is like the guaranteed drop. Like you drop this card just because we didn't see it. It's just, I feel like it's going to be so freaking good when you do see it. It's still probably going to be worth the 4 of. So yeah, more testing required, I would say. I'm very pleased with how the deck list performed. And I think we were just like, we were constantly 1 second from victory in that last game, and it just didn't work out that time. And I think a lot of times it actually might work out in that scenario when you do gain so much life that the opponent has to swing 5 turns, 6 turns in a row. I don't even know how many turns they were attacking in the air, but it took them forever. And that was thanks to Dissection Tools lifelink. Really cool. So anything we could have seen there, the snack, the Camellia, the Confectioner, all of that would have won us the game. Another Leyline Axe in the opener would have won us the game too, right? Like, there's just so much, man. Cool stuff. All right, if you made it this far into the video, look at that. We hit the hour mark. Well, that's some professional rambling right there, huh? No, for real, if you made it this far into the video, y'all are champions. I super duper appreciate you, and I will see you in the next video.